Hey guys, got another job for us. Another broken banana. This guy is broken right here. Did it pretty good. So let's get this thing moved and I'll do a little more explaining. Let's go. That's stressful. Okay, so after that struggle, next step is to assess the problems. This guy busted, which is not good. So that's gonna force me to have to cut this guy back up here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a new plate on it. And this guy broke right in the factory weld. It's interesting. Man, oh man, it looks like it tore off from the backer plate. But either way, relax, it's only metal, as they say. So I'll start chopping it up now. I'm gonna leave my crane up on there to kind of hold it in position. I think I should be able to get most of this. I'm gonna try and cut this off here first so we can look inside, and that will free up I'm sorry, once I cut this top piece off, these are in a bind under here. So from this top opening, I will go ahead and cut a patch out to free up this tension in here, enough to where I can squeeze this back together. Once I squeeze that back together, I'll know it's very close. You know, it should squeeze back together just right. I could put some welds over it to hold it in position while I replace these plates. First, I will repair this tube in here though first. I'll gouge and weld that tube. Hopefully the pin's straight. We'll find out. If not, this may be a line boring video too. But hopefully not, because they're in a rush. So let's lay this out. Let's just do a lot of cutting. Cut all that stuff away. Take a couple measurements for these bolts. Okay, let's keep going. All right, guys, so check this out. This is a hypertherm plasma torch attachment. I went and tried it out at the FabTech 2019, and they were coming out with a newer model. It's a sync model. This is a smart sync torch, and they had one that was pretty much a scrapping torch, which is a long neck with a 90-degree. And I thought, man, that'd be pretty neat to try at the shop, see if we can use it like a regular standard torch. And so check this out. How's that? Trigger back here. Use it like a stranded torch this way. Pretty exciting. This is a 2-foot model. Again, I was trying this out at the FabTech, and it was neat. FabTech, they had the one with I think a 45-degree angle one, or I forget exactly which one. I thought, man, this would be super cool at the shop. And use it very similar to the way I use a torch. And maybe even make some cuts this way. So that's what I'm going to use on this project right here. So we'll see how it works out, man. I'm pretty excited. This is really neat. So let's get this connected and try it out. Uses these mechanized cutting cartridges. They're all in one. You can see 85 amp. Just like that. Man, oh man, this can be very interesting. Now don't worry, I will still torch cut everything. It's just, this is really cool, you know. I mean, if you have access to something like this and it saves you gases, you know, electricity is a little bit cheaper than the gases. So if I can use this in the shop, man, that would be wonderful. So very cool add-on. I need to make a shield or standoff, unless they sell them. I need to look into that. But other than that, that way I can drag it. But other than that, pretty exciting. All right, so here goes. First shot at, I switched the tip to the gouging tip. I'm gonna try and gouge these little welds off to get these little posts off, and then this guy off right here. Let's see what happens. I must say, first impression is pretty slick. Let me cut an opening in here. Now that I got those pieces off, excuse me. Now that I got those pieces off, now that it frees me up to be able to mark a line across here and cut this section off of it. And what I would do to help with that is I'll actually cut out, it seems like more work, and it kind of is, but I will cut out this area here just inside of this wall. And so I'll have a narrow strip right here, and that way I can plasma cut this way through this material without affecting this material. So it's kind of a trick. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let me mark this line here first so I can at least know where I'm going, and then we can start cutting. Changing back to the cutting tip. Man, oh man, would you look at that? That came out nice. Wow, that's crazy. That's pretty slick tool. Okay, moving on. I did not see this here earlier, but this center section of this tube is broken, not just cracked. I thought, either way, it's gotta get fixed. Okay, so now I don't know if you noticed, as I was cutting this free, there was a lot of built-up tension in that plate, so that was pretty good that we cut it off. Now this is what I was talking about here. I need to make this slightly narrower, make another cut right in this area here, so that I can cut that way and erase all this stuff here. It's kind of a process, but you'll see what I mean as I keep going. Hopefully, at least. I may try and put the welding lens on this camera to see if you can see some of the cuts that I'm making. You know what's funny? I actually shouldn't have cut that piece off. Now I don't have a steady rest to cut that line with. Either way, it's all learning, right? So let's keep moving. Okay, so I pulled a little bit of tension on it, and it's still got a bit of a gap there, so it seems like it tweaked open that way when it came apart. So I'm gonna try and crank on it a little bit more and then hit it with the Tanya 4000 and see if it'll move. If not, I'm going to make some relief cuts in here. We've talked about this before. All this torn area makes it so difficult for it to squeeze back together. So if you're able to cut a groove in there, almost like an open root, that'll free up some tension. So I may just do that with plasma. Just cut a line straight through it. Oh yeah, look at that, it busted all the way around. There's probably a lot of tension in this spot right here. You can see it's offset. So I'll do that. I'll follow the line on that side of the brake because this is a solid piece, and see if that'll relieve some of that tension in there, and that way we can get that squeeze back together. Okay, so after a lot of heating and a beating, it looks like I got it back to where it's supposed to be. It looks very interesting because of this overlap right here. But it could have been the overlap between the two welds and just crack right down the center. Very interesting. But nonetheless, here we are. Got it about as close as I can get it to its proper spot. And so what I'll do now, I will tack this backer bar a little bit better. That way it just holds it in position where it needs to be. And I will test to see that the pin still goes in this bore. And it looks like it should, right? But there's just never really any telling because these things tweak and twist out of position really quick like. So I'll clean these bores up. Yeah, guard dog over there. I will tack it in position, see if the pin fits. The pin fits, then I'll start cleaning up these areas. Start gouging this a little bit better to put a nice weld in there, nice penetrating weld. Which it really wasn't that deep of a weld because it's just to hold those two tubes together. I mean, this cast piece and this tube. I will have to hammer this down because it's protruding a little bit past the surface of flush this way. So that's looking good. I may go ahead and start cutting on this piece of material once I clean all this up and tack it on there to hold it in position after I weld this up. That way I ensure that this holds, and once it holds, I'll put some good welds in there and try and weld as much as I can. That way I only have to lay this machine or this boom over once and it'll be out of here. So things are looking good. A lot of grinding. I'm going to try to use the flush cut consumable for the plasma cutter. Try and get rid of all this stuff here, which will work. Minimize the grinding. I did some of the removal of the welds here. Kind of chewed it up, but that's what the grinder's for, right? So get that done. Get this done. They welded pretty good, you know. They put a little bevel to that, so it's a decent sized weld. So now it's just a matter of removing all of that stuff, cleaning it all back up, and gluing it all back together. So let's do that next. Guess we'll see if it fits. It's a little wore out. That's all I got. Oh, it doesn't fit. Oh no, that stinks. That don't make sense. That's not good.